Hi, this is Dan. And I'm going to go over the 10 different types of ways that you can hold real estate. The entity, the structure that you're holding the real estate. Okay, so it's very important when you buy a piece of property, it could be land, it could be commercial, residential, that the first thing you have to think of is how you're going to hold title. So for instance, there's sole ownership. That's when one person buys it. It's pretty simple. They own it. They control it. Sole ownership. Number two, tenancy in common. I always think of tenancy in common like a duplex, where one structure is divided into two garages, two front doors. Tenancy in common. Now, number three, joint tenancy with the right of survivorship. Now, go back to the duplex. Now, when one person dies, the whole duplex will go into the other person. So then one person will own it. That's joint tenancy with the right of survivorship. Now, number four, tenancy by entirety. Now, I always think of the husband and wife scenario. Now, the husband and wife own one property. Now, when one passes away, the other one will own the entire property. That's tenancy by entirety. Now, number five, community property. Now, some states only allow married couples to own that. That each spouse is equal. They share it, community property. And how they own it, somehow they get divorced, they'll divide it equally among themselves. Usually that would happen when that divorce, and my advice to those people is happy wife, happy life, and it's cheaper to keep her. So divorce is very expensive. I really don't want to ever get a divorce. Now, another way, a very common way, is a living trust. Now, that is when the property is held within the trust. Now, this is really beneficial when the people that own the property pass away. It pretty much automatically goes to the survivorship. Again, this is not legal advice. If you are going to have set up a living trust, see a professional. Don't listen to people like me on the internet. Now, the next one, number seven, corporation. In many ways, corporations own real estate. For instance, BlackRock, Blackstone. You can also establish your own corporation, like a limited liability corporation. All right, that has a lot of protection of owning it without being sued. So you have a corporation, an S corp and a C corp, and also another way, number 8, would be the LLC. Really, what it does, it's like an insurance policy for you being personally liable, being sued for things. It's all in the limited liability corporation. I remember a story when Denzel Washington, God forbid, had a house fire. Now, the firefighters came to the house, and they didn't know it was him because he didn't own it. It was owned by a corporation. And that's actually pretty smart for Denzel Washington, because you don't want your name on the public records in the county of Los Angeles. There are a lot of crazy people out there, especially in Los Angeles. They're going to find out where you live just by going to the court records, and it's public record. This way, you can kind of keep a little bit of secrecy to owning a home. Now, number 9 would be partnership ownership. That's when two people start a partnership. Now, they're partners in some sort of structure. I believe you have to set it up with each individual state. Okay. Last one, number 10, would be the life estate. Now, I've seen this one. This one really isn't that common. On a life estate one, I always think of the rancher. Now, old rancher has an older gentleman, let's say, I don't know, 70s or 80s. He knows he just wants to live in his home, but he's really land rich at the time. And he doesn't mind. Maybe he's a back piece of land in there in a small little house, but he's also builds a larger house in the front, and he sells it to someone. But he wants to stay on the land until he passes. So he'll stay in the back in the small little cottage, while the other people that bought the land from him stay in the front. And he's allowed to stay on that land until he passes away. And then when he passes away, that property will go to the buyers. And that's kind of a win-win situation. The buyers might get a great deal. In that situation, there's a lot of land, so they're not really bothering anyone, and the farmer likes it, and he gets his money, and he gets to stay in the place that he probably was born and raised on. Well, if you can, please like and subscribe in the comment section below, and I really appreciate your support in supporting this channel. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.